Our next storyteller, I don't believe has told a story here before. You're Meghann, right? Okay. All right, yeah. Not that you're next. But, our next storyteller, have you ever been before?
No, I've never been told a story in public.
Never told a story in public. So this is one of my favorite things is people who are brand new to this medium because they're fucking wild cards. You have no clue what they're gonna do. They could be terrible. This could awaken something in them that they never knew. That like, there's somebody here, Dave Emanuel's here, and he came and had never done anything like this before, and it has changed his life. He's now a stand-up comedian in town. So like, get fucking ready, right? All right, you guys pumped? I'm pumped. All right, please. Be very loud and raucous, because it's a first timer and that's the best thing. Please put your hands together for Meghann Dawson.
Thank you. So it's totally impromptu, but the worst date theme, I could not tell this story because I know for a fact this is the worst date, the biggest asshole. I don't know if this is going to be the best story, but I do know it's the worst date. So I figured I at least had to tell it. So here we are. I think Sarita set me up very beautifully because this story will have some laughs. You might cry a little. There's going to be some moments that you think, oh, that's funny, and I feel awkward for thinking it's funny because I think this was a date that started out as like the best first date, and as the date progressed, it turned into like a weird first date, to a creepy first date, and then 6 months later, maybe a Me Too kind of first date. So that's this story. So here it is. So 2012, I was going through a brutal divorce. One of the only upsides of going through a divorce after a 12-year relationship was I got to be divorcing when online dating existed, and it didn't previously. So it was kind of like, wow, like this is so awesome. Like I am like newly single in this new technology. So I'll age myself a bit. There was no Tinder. It was OkCupid was the cool thing. So OkCupid. And so one of my very first dates was a lunch date. And so the lunch date was so awesome. I mean, this guy, like we just connected. He just had dreamy eyes, but kind of nerdy eyes. So I felt kindness in those eyes. He had never been married, but wanted kids, and he loved that I was a mom, and it just really spoke to his heart. And God, we connected so much that when he heard that I did not have my daughter that night, he thought, oh my God, like it's meant to be. We should connect again. Like, would you like to go out to dinner tonight? Yes, I do. Like, I love this connection. Like, let's keep this going. So he showed up that night at my house, the first time in like my marital home where like another dude was picking me up, which like felt kind of freeing. Like, oh my God, my ex-husband was such an asshole. So to have another man in his home, like bringing me flowers was just like, it was so beautiful. And so we went out, and it was just a perfect night, and we had so much fun. It was so great. And when he drove me home, he asked if he could come in for one drink. And, I was new to the dating world, and I didn't think anything of it. And so I said yes, and he came in, and we talked for a little while, and it was just really beautiful and nice and great connection. But very quickly, I got very tired, really tired, like weirdly tired. And in that moment, the tiredness, and I just kind of said I was so tired, and I apologized, and I have to end this night early. And so I did. I said, I'm so sorry. I love this day, but I just need to go to bed. And he said, can I tuck you in? So this is when the date got weird. Like in my mind, I knew that was weird. It wasn't creepy yet. To me, it was just weird, and I thought, okay, you can. Fine, but So we go up to my bedroom, and he tucked me in, and we said goodbye. And it was very sweet, and that was it. I woke up the next morning, and he was sleeping next to me. That was creepy, right? So that was creepy, and it freaked me out, but I didn't think anything of it. He said, I just got so tired. We had such a nice night, and I dozed. I meant to wake up, and I never left, and I apologized. And so that was it. Very soon after that, I'd met another person on OkCupid, and I started a serious relationship, and I let this person know that it wasn't going to go anywhere. He texted a few times, and then that was it. And I thought that was done, and He was just kind of this weird, creepy guy that spent the night at my house that I didn't really know. 6 months later, I'm at a single mom's play group with a meetup group. And we're with this random group of women, and we're meeting new people. And one of the moms, who has 2 children, a brand new baby and a 3-year-old, starts telling her divorce story. And the more she talks about the guy, the more I realize who she's talking about. And I say, "Excuse me, are you talking about so-and-so?" "Yes." "How do you know that name?" And my heart just sunk, because he told me he was single. He told me he had no kids. And I said, I'm so sorry. I went on a date with your husband 6 months ago. And her face just sunk, and she said, "Oh my God, you're the first of many." She said, "I saw on my credit card statement that night that he had bought you flowers. Did he buy you flowers?" "Yes, he did buy me flowers." She said, "A couple months ago, I found in his phone a number of 40 women that he was sleeping with, and pills to make them fall asleep." So in that moment, that connection with that woman verified that I probably was a victim of something. I don't know exactly what. To me, it was just this creepy, terrible, worse date that over time became a much worse date. I became friends with the wife and have become just strengthened in my belief that we meet people for a very solid reason, and her and I were very much meant to cross paths and kind of heal each other from that moment, even if I don't remember much of it. So that's my worst date. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghann. So we've heard a lot of funny stories tonight. And that's usually how Story Slam is. We hear a lot of funny stories. There's something about this kind of atmosphere, and it feels like a family dinner with family members you haven't seen in a really long time. And typically, I always say stories beget stories. So you hear a story and it makes you think of a story that you should tell, and it's usually funny. But every now and then we get something like that. And where somebody gets up here in front of a room full of fucking strangers. How many people do you know here tonight? One person. They get up in front of a room full of strangers and they just rip this open and go, "Look at this," and this is where I'm at and this is what I've been through. The meat of what we get to do here at Story Slam is the cool thing about standing up here with a microphone and telling a story is that you get a line of connection with each and every single person in this audience. It's not just a connection with the audience as a sea of people. It's individual connections with each of you. You get to take that story in and grow from it. And much more importantly, Meghann gets to let that story out and grow from that experience. And I hope that during our next break, people talk with Meghann and share, "Thank you so much for having that courage to share that amazing story," things like that. It helped me, it touched me where I'm at. I've been through this, listen, I don't hope anybody's been through that, obviously. But I do hope that if you have been through something like that you're encouraged and that you find community here and that you find community with Meghann. Because Meghann just did a huge step in building community. And the next step, the next building block of that is when people come and talk. So thank you again so much. That was beautiful.